I'm joined today by Josh Bernstein, host of the Josh Bernstein Show, spokesman for AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. Check them out on the web at amac.us. AMAC has put out a statement saying that the falling unemployment rates we've been seeing are not a cause for celebration. Why not, Josh?
Well, I think that you have to look at the entire, macrocosm of the entire situation. We've got 92 million people that are currently not in the workforce. We have 50 million people on food stamps. That's why Newt Gingrich a while back called Obama the food stamp president. You've got 10 to 12 million people on disability. A lot of those people have become on disability because of their 99 weeks of unemployment running out. So you have to look at the entire thing. If you also take in the underemployment numbers, that rate is actually closer to about 12.6%.
Okay, so let's break this down piece by piece because just about everything you said there is wrong. So give me a little bit of time and we'll take this piece by piece. Let's first talk about the underemployment. So there are two measures that we can use to look at unemployment. There's something called the U3, which is total unemployed as a percent of the civilian labor force. This is the official unemployment rate. So when Friday likely we'll hear that unemployment is down to 5.6%, something Mitt Romney said he would need to repeal Obamacare to do and would need until January of 2017 to do. When we hear that 5.6% number, we're talking about the U3. Now, what you alluded to there by saying we need to look at people who are underemployed, you're talking about something called the U6, which is total unemployed plus people who are marginally attached to the labor force, plus those who are employed part-time for economic reasons, divided by the total labor force. This is a complete canard from the anti-Obama right, and I'll tell you specifically why that is. If we go all the way back to Ronald Reagan in the early 1980s, the U3 and the U6 have been measured in the exact same way, and the gap between the U3 and the U6 has been essentially the same for the last 35 years. So to suggest that today, fine, the U3 is low, but the U6 is particularly high, there's no economic data that tells us that.
Well, first of all, when Barack Obama took over in his second term, the unemployment rate was 7.8%, okay? And there was millions more participating in the workforce. Let's not forget the 29ers, okay? That's not the 49ers, the 29ers. These are folks that are now working 2 and 3, sometimes 4 jobs as a maximum of 29 hours a week because, again, Obamacare has ruined the job market. That's why just the other year, I believe it was 2013, the second largest job creator in America was a temp service, Kelly Temp Services. You've got the lowest amount of people owning homes. Home ownership is down at a 20-year low.
All right, but hold on, Josh. I have to pause here. I have to pause here because
I'm not going to let you, get around.
It's not a question. No. It's not a question of you letting me get around something. Home ownership is not part of the discussion right now about the labor force and the unemployment rate. You may want to talk about home ownership as a sidebar issue to the strength of the economy.
Let's talk about all the professionals out there, the doctors, the lawyers, the general managers, the CEOs that are now out of work and cannot find other jobs. And the jobs that they are finding, of course, are not at their level and or as prestigious as the jobs that they once held.
Okay, so Josh, if that's the argument you want to make, present some empirical broad data about that. Tell me, what's the broad data that says CEOs and doctors now are taking jobs below their level? Tell me the data.
The data is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics that shows that professionals that are in the workforce that were at higher levels can no longer find jobs because companies are not hiring, because companies are scared to death of the Unaffordable Careless Act, as I like to call it.
Josh, you're
hiring
You're
people,
making
David.
stuff up. There is no data that suggests that. If Josh, hold on a second. I really need to break this down. Do you believe that about 212,000 net jobs were created in the last month? Do you believe that data?
Not really.
Okay, now hold on a second. That data is from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which you just cited as your source for what you believe. So why don't you believe the BLS on that?
David, the Bureau of Labor Statistics are not, this administration is not counting the underemployment and the people that are marginally attached to the workforce, as you clearly stated earlier.
You're right, Josh. Do you know what, Josh? You finally said something that's correct. Let me hold on a second, Josh. We need to be really precise here. We need to be super precise here. The administration is not counting those who are marginally employed because it is not the job of the administration to count that. Dating back to, hold on a second, Josh. Dating back to Reagan.
Forget about those 92 billion.
Josh. No. You're going off the rails.
Right.
Dating back to Ronald Reagan, the Bureau of Labor Statistics counts that, which has nothing to do with President Obama. You guys don't seem to want to admit that.
What about in 2012, a month before the election, when Jack Welch, the CEO of General Electric, said, "Boy, those Chicago guys are really cooking the books." I believe him, and he's only been proven right over and over and over.
He's not been proven right once. There has not been, Josh, there has not been a single allegation about the Bureau of Labor Statistics cooking numbers that has been verified. Zero. Tell me one. You have the floor.
I'm telling you right now, there is no way that you can go from 8.1% down to 7.8%, whichever it was, right before the election, and not add any net jobs. So obviously something's going on.
Josh, what's going on is exactly what Mitt Romney said he was going to do if he were president. Why is it so unbelievable that there are more jobs and unemployment is going down?
We wouldn't have CEOs and executives working 3-4 jobs to even get close to the same type of money that they were making beforehand. If Mitt Romney was the president, we wouldn't be seeing the unemployment numbers that we have now. He wasn't the greatest candidate in the world,
that's for
but
sure.
He certainly had the business acumen to get this economy started in the right spot.
Josh, I'm really feeling bad here because you seem to have come into this with plenty of allegations, and when I ask you for specifics, you say I just don't believe it. No, you say Jack Welch made a claim. That's nothing.
92 million people are out of the workforce, David. You cannot just make them people go away.
All right, let's explore
50
that.
million people are on food stamps. They removed the work requirement from welfare. What else do you need, sir?
Let's explore that. Let's continue to take an evidence-based approach. What you're now moving from, and let's agree to change our discussion, you're moving from the unemployment rate to the labor participation rate. When you talk about the millions of people not in the workforce, do you agree that now we're going to have a discussion about labor participation? Is that fair?
David, we could have 2% unemployment rate. If there's 92 million people not participating in the labor force, as you just put, it doesn't matter.
Perfect. I agree with you. So let's talk about that. Tell me about how someone is considered in the labor force or out of the labor force.
It depends on how they're looking for work. If they have not looked for work in the past 4 weeks, then the Bureau of Labor Statistics does not count them. And therefore, it's not reported to the Obama administration. So then they can run around and say that the unemployment rate and the economy is doing so great.
Perfect.
Maybe
so did you know, Josh?
That's why they vetoed the Keystone Pipeline. Maybe they don't need those extra jobs. Give me a break.
Josh, is someone who's 17 and in high school and not working, are they considered not in the labor force by the calculations where you talk about 50 or 90 million?
Well, okay, let's talk about that. How many young people are not in the labor force as they were before? You've got 18 to 24-year-olds.
No, Josh, you're not answering my question now. Josh, you're not answering my question. 17-year-old in high school, not working. Are they included in the talking point about 90 million not in the workforce? It's a yes or no question.
They are.
They are. Are 16 and 17-year-olds who are full-time high school students not working? Is that a sign of a bad economy or is it a sign of a good economy? Because it means their parents make enough money that they don't have to work.
Oh, come on. You got to be kidding. Let's talk about the sandwich generation then, if you really want to go there.
No, but Josh, we can't talk about the sandwich generation. No, I did not bring up the sandwich generation. Josh, we're not going to talk. You're distracting. You're not addressing every point. Did you know, Josh? Josh, did you know? Hold on a second, Josh. Josh, hold on a second.
The unemployment rate is 15-16%. Easy all day
Josh,
long.
let me walk you through this because you're really not doing a good job of supporting your side. Let me give you a scenario. You have 1,000 people collecting unemployment benefits in 1 month, okay? The next month, 900 of those people find jobs and 100 decide to go back to school to improve their skills. Does that...
Are you talking about the free
hold on a
education
second.
that Obama wants to give everyone?
That's not even the discussion, Josh. Try to stay focused here. 1,000 people on unemployment. Next month, 900 find jobs and 100 decide I'm going back to school. Does that help or hurt the labor participation rate?
Well, I think that it would help it in some respects, but I think it would hurt it in another respect because of the fact that now you have these 1,000 people, right, that were looking for jobs. You in your numbers, you're saying that 900 of them found jobs. What kind of jobs are they?
But Josh, you're not even...
No. I'm not going to let you get away with it.
Josh, it's not about you letting me get away with anything. It's about
David,
I'm trying to show you don't even know what you're talking about, Josh. Let me back up. Back it up. Let me restart, okay?
What I'm talking about,
I
David.
apologize,
I'm
Josh.
let you get away with manipulating the numbers.
I'm not. This is a thought experiment, just so I can see if you understand what the labor participation rate is, and you're responding to me about those aren't good jobs. Let's back it up. We can't even have the conversation you want to have until we even see if you understand the labor participation rate. Let me tell you what I meant, okay? Because the questions are not going well. If you have 1,000 people who are on unemployment, that means that is 1,000 people that are in the labor participation rate because they are all actively looking for jobs on unemployment, okay? If the next month 900 of them find jobs and 100 of them decide to go back to school to improve their skills, the 900 who found jobs are still part of the labor force, whereas the 100 who go back to school no longer are. We have a situation there where 900 out of 1,000 people found a job, yet the labor participation rate has gone down. Do you understand now why it's misleading?
I understand where you're coming from that perspective. I do.
So you agree that it's a misleading statistic.
What type of jobs are they getting? Are they getting the type of jobs that pay for their ability to be able to take care of themselves? No, they're not.
But Josh, you're making my argument. You're making my argument.
They're getting 29. The 29ers are the new realm of society. That's what's going on right now. You've got people that are working 2, 3, sometimes 4 jobs to make the same amount of money that they would have made at their $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year job. The middle class is getting squeezed. With Obamacare now, you're going to have 300 to 600% increases in their premiums.
No, you're not, Josh.
Yes, of course you are.
I was really hoping to have a serious economic discussion with you, but you don't even understand. You don't even understand how the labor participation rate is calculated. How could we possibly have a conversation
on your show to try to show them up? And it ain't going to happen on this one, buddy. So just understand that we're going to either agree to disagree, or I'm going to let you know that there's 92 million people right now that aren't jumping up and down and blowing up balloons and putting on party hats because they don't have a job, David. 92 million people. 50 million people on welfare. They removed the work requirement for welfare. Why? So that they can improve and put forth the Cloward and Piven strategy to destroy the economy and replace it with socialism.
Josh, I really honestly feel bad for you because you're accusing me of trying to show you up, but you've made it so evident you don't even understand the basics of how these things are calculated. I really do feel bad, Josh, and we've gone like 5 minutes over our time. Okay. I'm willing to have you back, as I always say, but we've got to at least understand the basics of how these things are measured, you know?
When you have me back and you have me on a topic, it will be a professional discussion, but I'm not going to allow you to skate around, and show it from your angle. And maybe you can say the same about me. Well, you want to show it from your angle. Well, maybe that's the case. But you know what? We'll have to let the viewers decide who's right.
We will. And I think the viewers know the difference between angles and just facts of economic measures. We've been speaking with Josh Bernstein. I am stunned by what Josh has said today, but maybe I'm wrong. And the audience will see that Josh actually really showed that I don't know what I'm talking about. AMAC.us is the website. I welcome those results from the audience. Thanks, Josh.